Set to go for practice for FIA Formula 2 at the Circuit di Monte Carlo. Been on the calendar since Formula 2 came back in 2005, and then that was known as GP2. We've had some legendary races around this circuit, 19 turns, 42-metre elevation change. But now, split weekends and one session a day mean the drivers are very much struggled to see what's going to happen first off. Virtual safety car is out then as we get underway for this session. Track temperature 43.6 degrees, air temperature 22.7, wind speed at 3.3 meters per second, 45% humidity. The track is dry as things stand, obviously, with the beautiful sunshine around the circuit. And a few bits of changes to Monaco since we were last here, as there's now a double yellow flag actually down at the chicane. The virtual safety car is officially out, but double yellow separately down at Nouveau with the cars congesting together. 45-minute session ahead of us with 43 left on the board. The green light is on, and we're all set to go, ready as well. I'm Joshua Birch, alongside me in the commentary box as well. I'm delighted to welcome to the broadcast, first time on, LA Wilshire. Hello, LA. Hi, and how are you doing in the background? She's going to be listening in over the weekend, getting used to things as well, but I'll say hello to you as well. You doing well?
Yeah, I'm doing really well. Technology going on here, and there's a slight delay, so hopefully it won't be too much interference for everybody.
Look forward to hearing through you throughout the session as well. Cheers, LA. As well, and yeah, she's just in the background keeping an eye on everything. She's got loads of facts and stats as well across from the weekend as well. Cars coming back into the pit lane though. A new regulation in Formula 2. They'll virtual safety car for the opening lap, then they must come through the pit lane in order to make sure that everything is okay. And then the drivers will get their opportunity to start this session first off. It's going to be a tricky one as well, because there's a lot to look forward to after the weekend of bizarreness we had in Imola. Several drivers will be changing over. Now just getting the F2 situation open as well, so that I can read my preview guide, as it seems to be having a little bit of an issue. Here we go. So, computer's really not liking me today as well as it comes through. Here we go. Alexander Dean on 64 points, Luke Browning on 58, Richard Verschoor on 55, Leonardo Follione on 52, and 45 on the board as well, coming for Armin Lindblad, as Leonardo Follione changes through once again. Certainly been a more entertaining couple of weeks for him, as we see exactly the changes that he's going to be making inside his own car. As the yellow flag comes in, the virtual safety car is ended. We are back under green flag conditions for this session. So 40 minutes then, one practice session here, 45 minutes, 3 o'clock to 3:45 local time. Qualifying tomorrow is at exactly the same time, so it's critical for the drivers to get out here and learn the atmosphere. Group A will be 16 minutes at 10 past 3, and then at 3:34, Group B will go out for 2 16-minute sessions. The sprint race on Saturday, 30 laps ahead of us, 100.110 kilometres. That's going to be on 2:15. That's 1:15 here in the UK, 2:15 over there in Monaco. 8:40 in the UK start though for F2 feature. That's 9:40 over there as we look around. Franco Colapinto watching on. Now back in Formula 1 with Alpine after an interesting start, crashing in qualifying back in Emilia-Romagna. And and we begin our build-up lap times now down towards the first few corners here as they come through. Let's cross over then and say hello to Alex Jakes. No, Alex Brundle alongside Chris McCarthy.
Demonstrating, Alex, that it is not over until it's over. In the feature race, they're going to have to use the soft and the super soft tyre, and Zach O'Sullivan took a gamble last year and it paid off for him as he went from 15th to the win.
It's so often the case though at this venue. It is the softest pair of compounds available for this weekend. What the eagle-eyed amongst you will have seen at the beginning of the session are drivers putting a bit of a scrub on the first set of softs. That'll just keep the tyre temperature under control in the early stage of the races and stop those overheating. But you do tend to see drivers run that alternate strategy here in Monaco. Effectively, drive from the beginning of the race, especially those sort of towards the front of the field. Drive from the beginning of the race. Wait for a safety car or a virtual safety car. It's worth a decent amount of time here, around 5 or 6 seconds, the difference between a virtual safety car and a green pit stop. A little bit less here in comparison to other circuits because the pit lane speed is slower, and so you're actually, the differential of speed on the racetrack is not so great in comparison to the pit lane, if that makes sense. So they'll wait and try and get that pit stop in, the mandatory pit stop they have to do in the feature race within that safety car period.
Joshua Dirksen, we saw that was he was involved in that incident which brought out the virtual safety car with Zane Maloney coming out here. The pit lane exit is something they have to watch. It's very tight coming out of Saint-Devote and up Beau Rivage. A check-in with the championship standings then. We are already 4 rounds into this 14-round season. This is round 5. Alex Dunn went to the lead of the championship with his feature race win last weekend. Luke Browning second. Then he's 6 points back, then Richard Bishaw 9 points back, then Leo Fornaroli and Arvid Livland, Alex.
So Sebastian Montoya then flicking back through as we'll come back on monitor at the moment. On board down into the chicane, he's up already in the first sector on Joshua Dirksen. Set our benchmark time at a 1:38.378. This will be the first lap times we'll get to see of actual proper running, finally. Because the F3 cars this afternoon took a little bit more time to warm up their tyres, but with Formula 2, they've been baking in the sun. And yeah, they do make a difference. No tyre warmers allowed, but leaving them in the bright sunshine, which has now been manoeuvred directly over the pit straight here, in orders that they do get a little bit more tasty as well to come through. Okay, so a little bit more traffic from on. Oh no, that's not what we need. There's traffic down at the chicane, and Montoya's been held up. So I believe there's Kushmaini around the outside, and this is why we split up the qualifying groups. 4 cars side by side coming through Ratskas into Anthony Noakes, and everybody getting held up. Gabriel Mini gets sent off. Montoya comes through, and right behind is Rita Miata. Absolutely ridiculous situations that we have to see right now out there on the circuit. Down to the Fairmont hairpin then, past the hotel. Wonderful view there. Somebody said, why don't you do a commentary from that location? How much I would love to, but when looking at the hotel prices for 3 days in Monaco, it is not the best. It'd be better doing it from the €35 side of the mountain to come through. Plug saying hello, JB, as well, keeping an eye on. As Alexander Doon holds backwards as well. Seconds up then, if we get our lap times in. So 1:38.378 from Joshua Dirksen at the moment. Leonardo Fornaroli does our first proper time, 1:28.551. And Doon immediately going to go faster out there as over the line now. And it's a 1:25.666, which usually it spells a little bit more trouble. They're not. I'm going to take the browser off and say hello to LA. He's now on camera. Hello, LA. And this is Montoya then coming through the section down at the back, already getting held up by the car in front, which to my knowledge looks to be one of the it's one Amersfoort Racing's. I can't tell the number side by side. We got rightly held up and squeezed towards the wall, and then right in front of him we had one of the dams, one of the ARTs. Who was it? It was Rafael Villagomez who squeezed Montoya towards the wall, and then just ahead of him on the monitor it was Alex. Yeah, so it's Jack Crawford who was then just ahead of the dams, and I believe it was Victor Martins in the ART just ahead as they come through. So a few more changes then to wrap back up, and I'll just quickly throw down and not throw under the bus completely, but hello LA. Monaco is a wonderful Formula 2 venue, and you've done a lot in Formula 2 over the years. When we were having a discussion yesterday, it was how you got back into motorsport and riding reports. So it's one of the best races of the year for F2, in my opinion. What do you have your feelings about Monaco? Oh, I can. Oh, go on. Hello, I can hear you now. I didn't mute. Sorry, go on.
Was on mute. I couldn't agree more. I love Monaco anyway for all the series, so I'm one of those in Monaco's favour. Just because it was the first race that ever got me hooked and got me interested in Formula 1 anyway, because of Ayrton Senna in '88, but also now because the support series are there, and there's so many more cars and there's so much more jeopardy involved. And these guys, these are younger guys, and this really kind of tests their abilities, to be perfectly honest. And I've been to Monaco as well. I've been to that race, you know, and that race weekend, and it's just fabulous.
How frustrating is this though? All the waiting around into Rascas, and it spoils everybody's lap times, isn't it? You go flat out through the swimming pool chicane. Oh, this was another slide. Okay, we saw this in Formula 3 actually. Sami Megatuniv sliding the rear and jumping over the circuit. That's Kushmaini then having to cut the swimming pool chicane in the other Dams BWT pink liveried cars, which absolutely looks spectacular as they fly through again. But yeah, I'm jealous you've been to Monaco and done this race. So it's on the bucket list.
And it is just as amazing as what you think, standing on that hairpin, you know, and it'll always be Lowe's hairpin to me. That's my era. But standing on that hairpin, and of course, if you ever go, a bit of a tip for you, if you're ever there on the Wednesday and you want to actually walk around the track, because it's pretty much all still open, they haven't sealed up, you know, all the entrances, you walk it backwards, because that's when the drivers do their track walk, and guess what? You're going to see them all.
I'm doing, but I will walk it backwards then as well. That's a brilliant idea. I'll get the microphone out and interrupt them and say, yeah, how does it feel? Just throw the microphone right in the face. That's not a bad idea. Monaco
it makes a difference though to last year, JB. You know, last year for practice session, it was absolutely teeming down. You know, they had a really wet session throughout the whole thing. Richard Bashaw came out on top, and but it was a really slow time, you know, because it was so wet.
Whoa, big slide coming in as well from Alexander Doon. Complete opposite lot. The swimming pool section so far this weekend across the juniors are very much drifting through that chicane. And has Montoya done the same thing? Yes, he has. So there's a bump on the entry to the swimming pool section that's catching everybody out. Can't wait to see what the F1 and Porsches do tomorrow. Yeah, for sure, set the time last year, but I remember that session. It was teeming down through the entirety.
Yes.
Yeah, we were all bored. It's like, oh yeah, girls going out. Just kick your feet
It was
up.
actually, sorry, it was my mistake actually, because Martin's topped the practice, and then it was Rashaw that topped the first qualifying session. So Martin's then, you know, obviously didn't do too well in one of the races, but the rain was horrendous last year, and the year before it rained on race day. I was sitting outside the Red Bull Hospitality getting really wet. I had an umbrella up.
That race was insane. The delay, the red flags that we had, and 2 years running now we've had red flags and we're just waiting to hope that we can get to the Indy 500 on time, because, well, to be fair, last year we had a delay to the Indy as well, 9-hour delay for the rain, so we didn't miss that too much. But there's a photograph of me at the end of last year because NASCAR also got delayed. So we had a red flag in Monaco, a 9-hour delay to Indy, and a 6-hour delay to the NASCAR race. And by the end of it, you just see me looking completely dead. Like, just no colour left anywhere in me.
What did you talk about for all those hours, Josh, JB?
I have no idea. Luckily, we didn't go on air for IndyCar until we got the start time. But we did have to sit in the commentary box waiting for the announcement of what time it's going to be. So, and again, does get slide into the swimming pool chicane. But yeah, that was bad. And then the worst actually was the Formula One red flag for Perez, because we had nothing to talk about. It was lap 1, nothing was going on, and we were all watching the clock thinking, are we actually going to go for IndyCar? And then that delay happened. And then the worst was also NASCAR, because we were all watching the radar thinking, are we going to restart? Are we not? And they literally waited until the end of the Fox broadcast window to say, that's it, race done. The last minute I was like, you could have told us this 3 hours ago instead of sitting here, because we also had Formula E. So I'd been up all night and all day, and it was exhausting because they were in Shanghai for F1. Oh, we had a red flag there as well. I forgot about that.
Wow.
So it was a day of misery. And this weekend, it's a bit different. Victor Martins, however, repeating what he did last year, but in drier conditions. It's a 1:23.230. He's gone fastest now.
I mean, the track must be evolving, JB, because everybody's just setting personal bests, you know, every lap. It just keeps popping up, all the personal bests that are coming up. But I mean, that track temperature is actually quite warm. You know, it's 42.5 degrees at the moment. You know, it's a warm track.
Really is getting nice and hot there as well, which is what we were expecting for the whole weekend, actually. There's not a lot of rain in the area. So a sunny weekend in Monaco is what we were hoping for, because we really want to see what, in the main category of F1, this mandatory 2-stop pit lane will do in order to try and create more overtaking. Let's have a quick look actually at the long-range weather forecast. Bit of rain due in later on this evening, that's okay, when the sun begins to set, but dry Friday, overcast Saturday, but sunny Sunday at 20 degrees Celsius.
Yeah, looks nice.
It might pop over. To be fair, I think Monaco, LA, with you doing it, is Monaco actually one of the easiest races to do on the calendar? Because it's just all central.
It is amazing, to be honest. The setup is fantastic, because you know the train station. If you're staying outside of Monaco, which you mentioned that the hotels are quite pricey, and rightly so, they are at race time. Anywhere in the world, those hotel prices go right up around the race weekends, no matter where you go. So yeah, you don't want to stay in Monaco. It's very expensive, but a lot of people go out, stay in Nice. You know, to stay along that train line. And you jump on the train, jump off almost in the centre of Monaco, because Monaco's so small. And then, you know, wherever your entrance is for your seats, you know, wherever you've got your grandstand. And on the Thursday and the Friday, seats are so cheap. You know, you're talking about 30-something euro, I think it was, on the Thursday when I was there. Maybe about 80-something euro for the Friday. And I was sat at Casino Square, and I was sat at the swimming pool on that reverse stand as we were just coming up to it there, that runs all the way along. Oh, someone stopped, JB.
Jack Crawford has gone on down at Mirabeau. He's reversing back up into the bus lane. He might just get away with this one if the Mecha Legend doesn't stall. He selects neutral. I'm trying to lift over, like I'm trying to read the dashboard on the camera lens as well, but yeah, he's got into first gear, he's got away with it. So we got lucky there, just not to have a red flag. But this is down at the hairpin, now Fairmont. It's been numerous different names, but yeah, so the tickets are cheap then on the practice days.
Yeah, Thursday, Friday, and there's a little shop there just up one of the side streets that you can actually just go. You know, you can book it online, then you go and pick your tickets up. It's all actually relatively easy, and a lot of things are accessible. You know, we were talking about where the F2 and the F3 are stationed, where their paddock are. I'm not sure from what I heard you say earlier over the F3, JB, if it's actually moved, because you mentioned something about Portier.
Yeah.
Whereas the old, the F2 paddock, as I knew it, it was over the opposite side. It was up in a car park, a 3-story car park, on the other side of the circuit. It wasn't Portier's side. So has that moved? Has that moved?
All I definitely know is that the F3 support series is at the exit. So as you come out of Portier, there's the road that goes directly down. Behind to the left, that's where the support paddock is in another car park, but it's right at the back for where the F3s are. It used to be where the Formula Regional Alpine Championship, the Fracker Series, was when we raced here. So it's just a bit further down at the exit of Portier. So I don't know.
Yeah, well, I didn't come across the F3 when I was there. So they are in separate places. It was actually, I don't know if it was the other feed that I was listening to. I don't know if it was Chris and Gary a bit earlier that were mentioning it. But the last time I was in Monaco, the F2 paddock, and I'm assuming it's in the exact same place, is on the opposite side, and it is indeed in a car park. It's not the most glamorous paddock on the calendar. I would say it's probably the most unglamorous paddock on the calendar. But what's extraordinary about it, JB, is that the cars line up all the way down the hill.
No.
And you come out and you can see all the drivers. You can stand next to them. You can take their photos. And it's a really amazing setup that they have.
The more I think about it, the more I think maybe, because now finally Monaco is actually moving next year. It's moving to early June instead of being the last weekend in May. So Monaco is shifting. Canada is taking this date. Then we go to Monaco next year in June. So it might be, because considering all that, I have 2 seconds, because Jack Crawford's made another error, this time down at the Nouvelle chicane. He outbraked himself and he's actually done the chicane, but in the wrong direction. Just on the inside line of it, yeah. But considering that we're looking at doing Le Mans next year, it might be simpler, because it will be in June, to do Monaco than do Le Mans. So do one to the other. So yeah, that might be an option. And leave the commentators.
No, is there a reason why they're moving it?
They want to streamline the calendar. So instead of going from Miami to Monaco to then Canada, as what it would be next year, they're now moving it to be Miami to Canada, then over back to Monaco, and the European season done again, because Monaco will be round 1 of the European season next year on the first half of the calendar. The early calendar that I've seen shows that it'll go Bahrain a bit later on in the year again. So it'll be Australia, then over to China, then Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, back over again to Japan, which is slightly later this year, and then back next year, I should say, then back over to Miami, Canada, then we hit Europe with Monaco, Spain, Austria, and so on along the calendar, then back to Silverstone. That's the early draft, but that's not been 100% signed off on as well. Just a few insiders in the know that have let me know that this is what's going on. But yeah,
well, last time I checked in with Motorsport UK, a fabulously lovely young lady called Jessica Runnels was in charge of the sustainability of the races, and not by herself. She's just part of a team, and she's an incredibly intelligent young lady who does actually help with all the sustainability of the races. So I don't know if Jessica's still in her role, in her position, but she was a very fascinating person to meet and to talk to about sustainability of races.
I think Max Esterson's gone off at Saint Devot. He's stopped at the timing tower, and there's a yellow flag out, and Saint Devot is where he would be in that first sector. We'll see if this brings out a red flag. But yeah, we'll have to double check that and see if I'd be loving to have a conversation with someone from the yeah, it is double yellows down at turn 1, so it is at Saint Devot. He's locked up a big way down. That's a huge runoff area. Let's have a look. So hits the brakes and just goes straight on. Has he hit anything? I reckon the engine stalled.
Oh. Oh dear.
He's having to do a 1,000,000 point turn, unfortunately.
Oh, It's like that little scene, isn't it, on that meme online. Oh, he's out.
Right, now this should be a red flag, but it isn't. It's just a local yellow. They all must think that they'll be able to get the car out of the way under this, at least put out the virtual safety car in this situation. You've got cars that can easily go back in essence have to get back into the car in order to put the steering wheel back on because he's taken it off and now can't get back in. So this is a bit confusing. And he can't restart now because he can't do his own belts up. It's one of these situations where you have to have somebody else do your own belts. He's actually helping the marshals who is pushing the car, and they're going to push it right down the other end of the escape road. So the race director's actually being a bit smart here by putting out the double yellow flags, and it keeps the session moving in such a way you might actually be able to stay green. It hasn't caused any damage, so not too bad there. It's been smart times, he's on top. Yeah, look, just actually speak to people about this environmental, how to make it as net zero as possible. They want to go carbon neutral by 2030. We're inching closer to that now. And it alarms me, green flags out, how much more work we have to do. F2 and F3 have gone renewable fuel. F1's getting that next year. But there's still so much that needs to be done. And the calendar needs a massive rejig. Personally, I'd drop quite a lot of the races that have to be at separate times a year. I don't get why the Middle East has 4 races and they're spread out throughout the year at polar opposites. It doesn't make sense to me. I'd start the season in Australia and then in New Zealand, and then just go round in a circle. Because the New Zealand race would be quite fun at the end of the year.
I couldn't agree more. Yeah, I chatted to Liam Lawson a couple of years ago in an interview. I mean, I've chatted to him since, of course, but in an interview and asked him, how it would feel to have a race at New Zealand, and of course, he's all for that.
I would love it. And Africa, yes. New Zealand, yes. French Grand Prix, possibility. Maybe rotate it with the German Grand Prix if we need to. But I'd love to see it. To be fair, I don't know if I would want Hockenheim back or the Nürburgring back. It's too much of a... Personally, I just have the European Grand Prix and rotate it around some of the classic tracks. That's my standings.
Yeah, you could rotate it between different countries every year. We have had it in Germany. We've had it at Valencia. That was quite a nice race. I liked the Valencia one.
It was always... As soon as it got good, they ran out of money, which really annoyed me because the circuit took a while for itself to find its footing. But 2010 was good, 2011 was a bit, but 2012 was fantastic. No, it's I don't know. I'm trying to think. What's in the worst circuit? What's the worst circuit that's been added in recent years? Because everyone always goes immediately, oh, Miami, but Miami's been good the last couple of years. Again, it's another slow burner. So, what's the worst circuit you think we've got on the calendar right now?
Joe, I think it's interchangeable because, how awesome has Suzuka been over the years? But what about this year? It was like, what's going on? What's happening?
Nothing happened. We all wasted getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning for it.
I don't know. I like them all. I like them in their own right. And I love Vegas. I went to the very first Vegas race, and I know there were a lot of complaints on sort of online from viewers watching it on television, but I didn't see any of it on television because I was there. And when I wasn't a fan of Vegas, I wasn't a big fan of the city. I've been multiple times before, but when I walked out onto the strip and I saw all the catch fences up, all the lights up, the practice was starting, and you're watching the F1 cars absolutely thunder down that strip. I was like, oh my God, this is the best city in the world. I love Vegas.
Actually, I've got to say that because I have right here, actually. Oops, tripping over my own commentary chair. I have Lando Norris's cap, race worn. This is not the one he had in Vegas, obviously. That was that special one, but this was his normal team one. Race worn by Lando. That was sent to me by the McLaren media rep as well. So that was the very first Vegas race where he crashed and was sent to hospital. But there we go.
Oh.
So that's
yeah, he did. Yeah, he had a bad time, didn't he, at the end there, just before the turn.
I like it. It gives it an excuse to get dolled up as well. Tuxedo comes on, the bow tie. You've got to really go for it if you're in Vegas.
It was a bit too warm during the day for a suit, bow and tie, but to be fair, it did cool down at night, and it was actually very, very cold at night when it got later on, and I think that might be one of the reasons why they're bringing it forward, those race times, because the temperature dropped so much with it being in the desert.
Yellow flags back out. I'll circle back to that point I want to bring up in a second because we have got another yellow. There! Oh, hello! That's backwards at Rascas. This will have to be a red flag. It's Leonardo Forlaroli in the Invictus, and that is going to be a track blockage. They're going to get through just in case. It's over at an awkward angle. It's not quite
Kept
the
it running? Has he kept it running?
He might have. He selected reverse gear. Oh, go on, get away with it. We saw Mick Schumacher have this a couple of years ago in the race, and it had to be red flagged. Can he select first gear and get going? Yes, he can. Well, they've done work on the Mecha Chrome engines in the past couple of weeks in order to try and stop them stalling. It seems like it is so far a success. Two cars that would have stalled and managed to get away with it, bar the one of Max Esterson. This is how he did it. So it's going to loop around. That's a really weird one. The front locks and then the rear stepped down. That's a. I've never seen that style of accident before down at Rascas because the front was fully locked and it just sort of rotated around them in the back. We've seen when it was the old Rascas, which used to sort of back around the building before they smoothed it out a bit. We saw cars flying in. I remember Zonta doing it one year as well. In the BAI, just launching backwards. Bertie did it as well and rolled over, as Bertie often did in his short F1 career. There's two.
I'm gonna digress a little bit as well because we just got a shot of Angela Cullen, who's Lewis Hamilton's trainer, just then as we had the pit lane shot. So hi to Angela, a strong female in the paddock.
Love Angela, and glad she's back actually as well after a couple of years away in IndyCar. She's come back, and another New Zealander, if not very much mistaken, that we were talking about. Did you see actually that shot of her hugging Liam Lawson, which came back into the paddock as a bit of support?
I did not. No, well, no, that was lovely.
It was in Australia. You were in Australia. How was Australia?
Coincidentally, talking about Australia and Angela Cullen, so they were on my flight when I was flying across, and I was just walking around the aircraft, just stretching my legs, and I came across Angela doing some yoga in door 2. She was doing a little bit of yoga, so I almost joined in, but I felt a bit rude. We didn't know each other properly.
It's a long flight, though. I'm not looking forward to when I make that flight.
It was a heck of a flight. I used to work on board aeroplanes, JB. This is something that you don't know about me. Yeah, you don't know this about me, but I used to fly to Australia for my job. But we never did it in one stint because it's much too long a shift, obviously. So we would fly to Singapore for a few days, and then we would fly on to Sydney. So I'm used to the trip, but I've never sat in a seat for it, apart from when I went the opposite way a number of years ago. But I had a nice few days off in LA as well on the way, so it broke it up a little bit for me. But this time, I went straight there. I was very, very fortunate that I was upgraded. So I didn't have to sit in an economy seat, and I think it would have killed me if I'd have sat in an economy seat, just because I've got people that know me well, know that I've got some underlying conditions. So I don't think it would have been in my favour to have sat in a regular seat for the flight. So another yellow flag here.
And a red flag has come out.
Oh, we have red flag.
Right, with 10 minutes to go. Same time as what we had in Formula 3. See anyone who's stopped on the sector. It's very hard without a driver tracker to work out who it is, but red flags have... Go on.
I don't know. I thought I knew who stopped, but I haven't. Dirk's in the pit for sure.
Rodin. Down at the first corner. There's just a lock-up. It's Amil Cordeal who has locked
The
up.
is it Esterson? I've got a stop for Esterson.
Yeah, he was down at
Cardeal as well,
yeah.
right.
Eston stopped at the first corner and got out of the car.
Yep.
This is now having to be a red flag because
Cardeal.
it's in the wall. Brakes
Cardeal.
overheating as well. One thing I'm always scared about is they're not that fire retardant, these Tech Pro barriers, and when the car goes in like that and its brakes are just on it, I'm always scared it's going to catch fire. That's why the fire marshal's just standing by, because if they do catch fire, it is just polyester effectively, and it will go up very quickly. If anyone's ever been bored and has set a piece of hair on fire, you know how quickly that goes up.
I've not done that recently, JB.
Well, it's a great form of kindling for a campfire, I can tell you that right now. So, yeah.
If you noticed how the Tech Pro responded then to the car, the grey Tech Pro is actually very hard. When you touch it, you can't push it. It's quite solid. And if you actually push the red Tech Pro, that's a very, very soft material. So that actually pushes in. It's quite interesting how it's like a concertina. So the grey compound is very different to the red compound.
And many people would just naturally assume that it's just all soft the way it moves in the air. But it's when you actually get there and push it. I've only ever experienced a safer barrier. I've never experienced the Tech Pro side of things as well. Have I? I'm trying to remember actually now.
Well, next time you see one, give it a push and you'll find out.
One thing I did do when I was at Donington was, with the tyre barrier, the sheet protector that you see across it as well. Oh, Montoya's noted for an infringement under the red flag. You know, this sheet protector. People think, oh, it just must be paper. No, it is quite thick. It's sort of metal sheet. And you give it a whack, and it's like a solid wall as you put. LA, it's really weird how things can
brutal.
look. Yeah. The worst thing I ever did though was Silverstone 2018. Tyres had just come off one of the World Endurance cars live on air. I thought, they're not hot. Ow! And burned my hand on it as well because they were so hot because they'd just come off the car. And although it was raining at Donington. You were at Donington last year, weren't you? At touring cars, the opening race when it rained.
Yeah, I was there for F4 and for GB3, I think for both. No, maybe just for British F4. So it was during British Touring Car.
Yeah.
I get a bit mixed up who they race alongside because sometimes it's
They
GT.
move, yeah.
So,
But do you remember the delay we had all day? And it was like it rained and the track flooded and everything.
oh,
Yeah.
okay, no. So I
you
was at
did for one?
Silverstone because it was a mixed weekend. So GB3 and British Formula 4 were on at the exact same weekend.
Ah.
And GB3 was on at Silverstone and British Formula 4 was on at Donington. So I went to Donington for one of the days, went to Silverstone for two of the days. They rained off a GB3 race as well and GB4 races at Silverstone because the weather they're not actually that far away from each other
No, not that far, yeah.
in distance. So it was a washout for both of the series last year.
We got going at, I think, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and everybody, the media centre smelled like a wet dog. It was awful. And the problem is, I decided, at that point, I didn't have a commentary box, so I was soaking wet, freezing cold, and I had to stand on, you know, once you go up to the media centre, there's that little bit of the view where the start line is. That's where I stood to do the commentary, and I was freezing.
I remember last year at Snetterton, though, for the first race of the season, it rained. There was a massive thunder lightning storm, and it was quite exciting. I get quite excited by lightning storms.
Same
so
here.
I ran outside and came across Luke John. Do you know Luke John?
Oh, yeah.
LJ, yeah. So I came across LJ sheltering under a tree, and we're both sheltered under a tree with my umbrella up, and people are saying, put your brolly down. I said, no, why not? You know, I don't mind.
A little bit of shock never had there, anybody. Oh, I would not want to have done that. I would not put my umbrella down at all in a rainstorm. I've got a new waterproof coat, however, that I wore on the Saturday to the touring cars. Didn't make that mistake the next day because it got hotter and hotter and hotter on that. The touring car's just gone, actually.
I think, the rain can come down that fast. Like it did when you were at Donington and I was at Silverstone. The rain came down that fast and that heavy that I had waterproof pants in my bag.
But
it was too late to put them on. I was already soaked wet through.
Yeah.
So I carried on just getting wet, and then swapped my regular trousers to dry them out and put the waterproofs on to just dry off.
It was ridiculous how the level was unbelievable. I think it was actually the heaviest rainstorm we had in the UK for a while, actually, the way it flooded. And I actually took a bit of initiative there, actually, because the safety car went out, and then I knew where the safety car was parked, so I headed down and asked the Goodyear representative, are we good? Are we bad? And he said, yeah, we're good. The minis are going to go out first, and then we're going to go, and there'll be a 15-minute acclimatisation session for the drivers. So I then walked back up the paddock and stopped off at Restart Racing, and it was Scott Sumpton at that point. Me and him had a good relationship. Shame he's not there this year, actually, Scott. He's a great guy. But I said to him, have you heard what's happening? He said, no, I haven't heard anything. I said, right, there's a 15-minute acclimatisation session in about 1 o'clock. Then the minis are going out, and then you guys are going out. He said, right. And then he told his teammate, Chris Smiley, who's still there now, and then all of a sudden the paddock was abuzz with it, and I was walking back through and went, oh yeah, I did that. I told them what was going on.
A couple of hellos as well, by the way, on the stream. So we've had a couple of hellos, if you've not noticed.
I've got the chat open. Hello everyone. Oh, Richie's back. Hello, Richie.
Good afternoon to Nathan, and hello to Plug.
Yeah. You'll meet Richie in the F2 and F3 streams at some point in the future as well, who is Williams eSport commentator, PSGL commentator, and as well, a little bit of slides, done a couple of things for charity as well, raised over £1,000 on charity streams as well over the past couple of years. Richie, when is the next one? It's getting time, isn't it? New game coming out for F1 25. That comes out today, actually. So if you are racing Monaco on F1 25, let us know what it's like, differentials and things. And, yeah, we'll still use F1 23 as our reference point at the moment. We'll try and get F1 25. The aim actually is to get F1 25 and a proper racing thing set up so we can do some more fun bits in the future. Problem is, you've got to do that and then pay alongside all our travel stuff.
I think that I don't know if what they're saying is that there's a bit of a tailwind at the far end of the swimming pool, which obviously leads into that Rascas corner. I'm not quite sure. Maybe that's got something to do with something. Because
the sliding we keep seeing, do you reckon that could be it? Yeah, it would make sense.
Possibly.
Oh dear, gone on yellow.
That'll be a big affair. That's not great to have that final part of the pool section. It's turns 15 and 16 right now, right here. And then leading into Rascas, it's like a tunnel, it's like a funnel, and if there's wind down there, that will affect all of the series over the weekend.
And that's not going to be great when the F1 guys get out there tomorrow, because to that section they're kissing the barriers as much as it goes anyway. Stanek goes second. There was a yellow flag out for 22 seconds. It's gone green now. Don't know why, but I would assume there was something down at either Sandoval or at Mirabeau. Lindbland's lost his lap time for track limits, so it could be him. He's gone off.
Did you?
Sorry, Ellie, I've lost you there. Say again. I've lost your audio. I've got you now. There you go. You cut out for a second.
Did you catch any of the GB3 last year?
I sadly did not catch much of that last year, but I have been keeping up with it this year, which is very good. I'm sure Omi might be messaging you to join him in the commentary box for some of those when you have a second. Are you going trackside for quite a lot of them this year?
Major plan to, but I would love to come trackside with you on occasion. That would be okay.
Oh, always okay. I can't wait. We've got Alton Park. Hopefully you're joining us there, that one, and the touring cars.
I will be, because it's only down the road.
It is only down the road, yeah. Me and Tom have got to get that sorted, actually, with Throxton, our first setup. And hopefully, as well, we get another room in the media centre at Alton Park. So that's going to be fun. Oh, slightly. Mega 2 in a bit wide.
So it's good to see John Bennett from GB step all the way straight up. into Formula 2. He's missed the stepping stone of F3.
Yeah, and I think F3 at the moment, everyone's saying it's with the new car, it's a sort of bogey year, isn't it? Not many people are going to learn much. So to step up to F2 is probably more beneficial as they've had a year to get used to it. Crawford's completely stopped the circuit there and gets overtaken by one of the dams as they come over the line. It's Gabriel Mini now, who does a fastest 1:42.480. Much better lap time then for Gabriel Mini on the overall run.
I think he likes his circuit.
I don't think that static, by the way, is from either of us. I think it's on the world feed, because I keep hearing Chris's mic cutting in and out.
I can hear Chris as well, and Alex talking in the background.
Yeah, so there's a little bit of something from the world feed there. They'll fix it. Victor Martins has topped the session, so echoes what he did a year ago, 1:21.715. LA, you've got the time from last year. What was it in the practice session?
The time was very slow. It was 1:39.237. Yeah, and we had a red flag there. Colapinto hit the barrier at Rascasse in all that heavy rain.
18 seconds faster than last year it went.
Can you believe it? 1:39. But even the qualifying times were slow compared to the race time. I mean, it was 1:21. They were both 1:21 qualifying times, and the race times were 1:04. Incredible difference. Wow. Fastest laps.
The race times here are absolutely unbelievable.
But talking about fastest laps, quickly before we go off air, talking about actually hold the fastest lap for Formula 1.
Who's got it? Oh, hang on.
It's Charles Leclerc.
Leclerc's still got the fast lap here.
2017 and a 1:19.309. 8 years. 8 years to have the track record.
My God. Yeah, Yeah, the interference is coming from the world feed, not from us, so apologies for that. He's coming, I muted the, yeah, it's coming from the feed. Yeah, thought so, excellent. So we'll get that sorted then for tomorrow. I'll DM the team and say, hello, your microphones need, in your commentary box need a new lead. Yeah, that wasn't happening in the previous session, was it? So I wonder if that is actual trackside com box, which is Alex's, because he's over at Monaco in the commentary box, and I wonder if this is just a loose lead. I do know that
he's got someone still switched on.
Yeah, some form of interference. He's talking.
Alex, turn your mic off.
Just straight away. But yeah, they use lip mics, of course. Wish I had a lip mic. Love lip mics. They're better than these things, the headsets. Don't mind them, but I'd rather use a lip mic.
That was quite eventful. There's quite a few flags out today.
Do you reckon going into qualifying we're going to see maybe a 1:20 as a qualifying time?
I don't know. It's possible. Yes. Yeah. I'll say yes. I'll say 1:29 something. Not 29, but 1:20 point, maybe an 8 or a 9.
I'm with you on that. I reckon they could get this down a bit. Practice times are
a little bit.
Usually as quick.
A little bit.
Ultra soft tyre and the soft compound tyre are the tyres here this weekend. That's Marty. That's the reason we had to get a flag. Oh, hello, don't stall it. Locked up down at Sandoval. So more lockups in F2 down at Sandoval than F3. And that bump's still causing problems. This is Crawford. This is what I meant. He completely stopped on the racing line. And Kush Mining had to completely dive out. Now, the stewards are going to have a word with him about this one.
I wonder why he stopped.
Yeah. Whether it did...
Ooh, he gave that a nice little tap, didn't he?
Villa Gomez into the wall. Now drivers did practice starts. Yeah, that was weird why Crawford just came to a complete stop in the centre of the track between Rascasse and Anthony Noakes. So onto the grid then.
Very strange. But it's good in F3. It's very good to see Brad Benavides back. He was in F2 a couple of years ago, and he's been floating around in another series, and he's actually back now, but back in Formula 3. So it's great to see Brad.
I think, yeah, Stanek stalled.
Ah, that's what's going on. They're going around him.
So Roman Stanek has stalled from P2 on the grid. Now we've got a yellow flag. They won't cancel the practice starts. They'll just say to do it on the other opposite side of the grid. That's my worst fear at Monaco, a staller from second on the grid, because that would be a massive accident.
Did the footage go back to Jack Crawford? Because it does say he stopped out on track. So did he just...
I don't know. Yeah, he's not actually out there. A couple of them, actually. I can't see Crawford in the lineup area down there.
No, maybe he stopped down there. Maybe he had a problem.
Because everyone who stopped has actually stopped on the grid doing the practice starts, but Crawford's not in that lineup on the timing monitor.
And he stopped on the track somewhere, so maybe he just stayed where he was. Maybe something happened.
There's the 14 coming into pit lane. That's Victor Martins. Yeah, so Bogdanovic still out there.
Yep. We're looking for 11 on that Dams car.
Not there. The yellow flag is out. We don't know if that's just because of Roman Stanek. It could be another issue that Crawford stops the circuit. They've got another 25, 30 minutes before the Porsches go out, so they have time to sort that one out. No yellow flags at Portier for Alexander Dunn. Oh, well, a little peculiar. So, LA, what did you make of that session as a whole then, going into tomorrow's quali?
Yeah, I thought it was quite interesting. You know, we've got some of the more local boys there. We've got Gabriel Mini, who seems to like and know this track quite well, doing well. But of course, we've got the usual suspects of Victor Martins up there. And Luke, do you know Luke Browning's doing really well this season anyway? Fornaroli is doing well. And it's a real surprise to see so many rookies doing so well. You know, Bogdanovic is doing well, you know, finished on the podium last week. So I'm loving this new rookie set. You know, there seems to be a massive difference this year between the seasoned drivers and the rookies seem to be good, if not better.
Now, I'm not sure because the lights are still flashing for Browning, but I reckon his car's stopped because he hasn't moved off the grid. He's stuck behind Stanek. I think we've got two stallers on the grid.
Do you?
Stanek's definitely his car switched off. Browning's, I think, was revving, but he hasn't gone. Never give up is on the back of the airbox for Stanek, but maybe at this point he should. Yeah, I can hear the engine humming in the background for Browning. He switched off now, right. So, yellow flags. He's not allowed to leave his grid slot. Two cars left on the line.
Yeah, he says he's in the pit, but he's clearly not.
Yeah, look, they're both stuck. They're stuck on the grid. So this is ridiculous.
So yeah.
Mecha Chrome engines. I was praising them earlier on, saying how much they've done in the past couple of weeks to try and get them to stop stalling. They can't even make the start.
I don't know if they had some kind of problem. Who knows? And they might have run out of fuel. Who knows?
They've red flagged the session. They've red flagged the session now because the car's supposed to leave the pit lane to go back to the support paddock, and they can't do that.
Oh, no.
So we've got a red flag. Oh my God!
This is very bizarre.
I can see the new race control building there as well. They with the reflective panels just in front of us. Presumably, the race director is flying around, and I wonder what Michelle is up to, who is the race director here for F2, because it's a very different Monaco weekend. It's not
just waving a green flag now. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, you're right. So that must mean that we can open the pit lane. What's going on? This is
we've
got no news here. Basically, the FIA run this event, but it's actually controlled by the Monaco circuit, the RAC, the Royal Ultimate Club of Monaco. So that is who controls this race event. And they've now allowed the team personnel onto the track to refire the engines as we take a look at the full results here from the opening and only practice for the 45 minutes. Victor Martins on top, 121.715. There's the cars refiring in the background. Luke Browning is in second, but he's stopped on the track. Leonardo Fornaroli in third, who had a spin down at Raskas. Gabriel Mini in fourth, Dina Bogdanovic fifth, Richard Verschoor sixth, Arvid Lindblad in seventh, Alexander Dunn is eighth, Roman Stanek 9th, Jack Crawford in 10th, Oli Goethe 11th, Rita Miata in 12th, Sammy Megatune in 13th, Sebastian Montoya 14th, Kushmani is 15th. Rafael Villagomez in 16th. Emil Cordial 17th. Hit the wall down at Sandoval. Joshua Dunskin is 18th. Jose Muamati, that's 19th. Disappointed for him as well, alongside John Bennett. Max Esterson in 21st to stop down the first corner. And Clan Shields just off the pace by 4 seconds. Well, my thanks to you, LA. I hope you've enjoyed your first day back in the box as well, and hopefully you get a few more ideas of what it's like when more people come in over the weekend as well. Are you enjoying it? Are you all having fun?
Absolutely had a blast. Thank you so much, JB. I really enjoyed it, and it's good to see the people joining in online as well. So thanks for joining us.
And thank you, LA, for joining us well. Thank you to all at home as well. We'll be back tomorrow then for F3 and F2 qualifying, the Porsche qualies, and the opening practice sessions from the season of Formula 1. Plus, it is the carb day for the Indy 500. We'll see you then from Monaco. Take care. Bye-bye.